Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett and thank you for spending some time with me today because in this video, we are talking about some dated interior design styles that are secretly timeless and how to make them work and last forever in your home. Now, the first style we have to talk about is one of the most popular architectural styles of the last 45 years, and that is colonial. Now, colonial gets associated with being like old or heavy, dated, and a lot of people will see these homes and be like, yeah, I don't like it, everything has to go, and we have to change everything. And that's kind of this like fight or flight mentality where you see something you don't like, it has to go. But the reality is colonial serves as a really good foundation for building something modern on top of. And what I mean by that is colonial details are great to incorporate no matter what the design of that home is, be it something that's ultra modern or really timeless, or you're going for something differently. If you want to do like French country in a colonial home, you can do that as long as you keep those colonial details because they tend to be really neutral. Some of those details are going to be baseboards and the trim on doors, the doors themselves, cabinetry door profiles, even like I see a lot of times people take out colonial style fireplace mantles because they're like, it's old and it's dated, and it's like, is it or is it timeless and classic? Those are the details that are really good to stick with. And then we can modernize some of the things. You can bring in ultra modern, really contemporary furniture and modern color schemes to really update a colonial style home without having to like completely gut and rip everything out and start from scratch. A conversation that I have had with many clients as of lately is actually all about flooring. A lot of their homes have thinner plank flooring. That was really popular with colonial style homes. And they're like, do I take it all out and do wide plank, or do I replace it with like an LVP or something? And I always say to them, and like I said, multiple clients have had this conversation with me, and I always say, I would much rather you refinish, stain that something different, lighten and brighten it up, go for something more neutral instead of like a really heavy red oak or orangey kind of color, and do just an expansion of what's there. It's a really good quality material, so why not stick with it? And that's the whole point, the takeaway I want you to have here. A lot of these newer homes are thrown together really quickly, and they lack style in a specific area, as where some older homes, you get a lot of that, and the quality actually tends to be pretty decent. So that's what I want to preserve and keep because it's going to save us a lot of money on the budget. That means we can do a lot more in other places. Colonial details I look to add into a home are going to be in hardware, like if we're talking about we're redoing a kitchen, add a decorative edge onto a countertop, add some hardware that has a little bit of that traditional reference to it. Maybe instead of doing a shaker door, we do something with a little bit of an extra trim detail. Boom, it's close enough, it references enough of those details that it feels timeless, it feels classic, and you can then apply some modern colors or materials to that to really make it feel updated and relevant and timeless always, but reflective of your personal style. Now, another dated style that I see people hate on, and I love to hate on it too, let's be real, is actually Hollywood Regency. But there is like a caveat here because Hollywood Regency as of late has slipped into the glam style. And that's what we all like to kind of poke a little fun at. But if you like that glam style and look where you have a lot of reflective surfaces, a lot of tufting and details and layers and all of the things, I love that, okay? I think it can be great when it's applied to the Hollywood Regency style. Now, Hollywood Regency is actually kind of an offshoot of mid-century, and you can have it in like a mid-century home. You can also have it in more of a Georgian or a colonial style home, but it's a great style because it has a lot of glamour, a lot of polish. It has an emphasis on scale, proportion, and grandeur. However, it also has a great sense of polish to it, and warmth is the most important thing to remember. So when you have a glam style, a lot of times you'll see like a mirrored piece of furniture with pewter trim. Ooh, yeah, okay, like that's very glam. But if that pewter trim was gold, it would be Hollywood Regency. And that's what I see all of the time, like on Facebook Marketplace here locally. I see that mirrored furniture that was super on trend, like 10 years ago, listed for dirt cheap, but the quality is really good. I mean, mirrors are good quality, right? It's glass, okay? It's glass, it has to be built really sturdy because they're very heavy. The quality tends to be good. So if I could get a piece like that at a really good deal and then repaint all of the trim to be gold, that's a really good Hollywood Regency style piece. Now, Hollywood Regency also has a focus on grandeur and scale and proportion, so you may see oversized vases and big floral arrangements. And that's okay and that's fine. Great places to add some of this detail into your space. Look for light fixtures and chandelier. Pretty much any style, as long as it has like a gold detail, will work beautifully in this style. Crystal details, cut crystal is really great for this. A lot of those things lean into the glam style without being tacky, without being overdone, without being not timeless, but Hollywood Regency has so many of those wonderful details that are very timeless and can be incorporated into any style that has a more traditional sensibility to it. So these are pieces to think about in your space, even if you're not committed to this overall style. I get it. It's a lot. It's not modern. It's not the direction things are headed in right now, but that doesn't mean it can't be timeless if it's done well. And with that said, there is a big difference between Hollywood Regency and glam. And when I speak to a client about a glam style, I always advise they lean into that Hollywood Regency a little bit so that we have that timeless sensibility and classic feeling in the space, and it won't feel dated or like it's over decorated or done. And that's something really important. You always want to make sure in your home that it's not overdone and that you are using a good sensibility when you're decorating, whether that's in your color scheme or the furniture choices, the materials you're choosing, which is why I say work with a designer. You can always book a one-on-one virtual design consultation with me where you can show me your home and I can answer some of your questions. You can book that using the link in the description box down below or by going to intro.co/GarrettLeChic. Now, while I work on every space, big and small, be it apartments or, McMansions, that's fine too. I have a lot of clients that come to me with very specific styles of architecture, okay, from mid-century to those colonial homes. But one of my favorites to work on, and something a lot of people trust me with, surprisingly, is actually cabin design. I have a lot of clients who have cabins for whatever reason. Like, I never thought that would be my niche, but a lot of people trust me with it because I think they know I'm not just gonna say paint all of the wood. And that's one of the best parts about cabins and cabin design is the wood and the natural detail. But what I always advise my clients is like, hey, we're not gonna paint all of this because why would we? Okay, like we have great wood, we're not gonna get rid of it. But how do we take and break this up? How do we provide a strong enough grounding element? Because that's what I see as the issue with cabins and why they feel dated. There's just a lot of heaviness there. There's a lot of visual static and movement visually where things just appear to be busy and you cannot focus in on them. They feel really warm and comfortable, and that's great, but sometimes using too many layers or too many details or leaning too much into the like cutesy side of things can be your downfall. So when I'm working on a cabin, I advise my clients to say any wall we have that we can paint, okay, like if it's a drywall wall and we're gonna paint it, let's take it into a easy to see but not heavy color. So off-whites and creamy tones. I may go for something a little darker. I love a moody tone in a cabin because it really gives a lot of that warmth. But when you have something that's a really stark contrast with wood, it will stand out. So if you paint the walls white next to wood, it's going to stand out. Sometimes that's a good thing. But in a cabin where you have more wood than white, I don't want the focus to be on a big white wall. So instead of using a stark white, let's go for a creamy white, something with some softness to it that doesn't compete. Then let's look at some darker colors maybe that are really moody or a little heavier and saturated. I'm going to take whatever wall color we're choosing. Like I just advised a client to do green, a natural muted green tone. I want to pull that into the space somehow in some of the details and accessories. I also want to be consistent about wood tones. I don't need to have a lot of competition, so I'm going to aim for two of them. One being the wood that's like, everything is built out of, and another that's maybe a little darker to provide a little bit more of that grounding element. Focus in on what feels and looks natural and authentic, otherwise known as noble materials in your space, and then we can start layering in some color, but we want it to be in those natural tones that feel authentic to that space. So focus in less on patterns, more on color, things that are natural and moodier to make that space feel luxurious and elevated and timeless and classic. Speaking of making your home feel timeless and classic, I love interior design. It is my life's passion, just like many of you that are watching and our subscriber family who we would love to have you as a part of. Please take a moment, hit that subscribe button and join us. Become a part of our GarrettLeChic family. We post interior design related content to help you elevate your home, to have a little bit of fun, and to learn a little bit more. So we would love to have you as a part of our family. Please hit subscribe, and I would also greatly appreciate if everyone watching could give this video a like. Hi, Beast. Hi there, hello. Hi. What's the matter? What are you interested in, huh? He knows I have a secret treat here. This dog would do anything for a treat. You all want to see how Arden is? See how he is. Come here. Come here. And of course now he's gonna crunch it up and eat it on the sofa, but that was cute. While Arden enjoys his little treat, let's talk about the next dated style that is actually timeless and I secretly love, and that is mid-century. Now, mid-century obviously is very popular right now, or it was, and it kind of comes in and out, but there's two separate niches of mid-century that I want to talk to you about. And when I say niches, I mean like there's mid-century architecture and then there's mid-century furniture pieces. I don't personally feel like the two of them belong together. I think if you have a mid-century home with mid-century pieces, it feels like a time capsule. And that to me is like, okay, but I love a mid-century home done in Hollywood Regency. I love a colonial home with mid-century furniture pieces. So if you have a mid-century home, respect the home, respect the details and the elements, and if you're doing renovations on it, you're doing updates on it, try to be as authentic as you can be. Don't just go to this tile store and be like, yeah, that's cute, okay, it'll work. Well, yeah, but okay, but how can we take that and do it more mid-century? Maybe it's the shape of the tile, maybe it's the actual color or the finish of it. Those sorts of things are great. But when it comes to mid-century furniture, I love to mix in a good mid-century piece to a lot of different spaces. And I always say, add an antique or add a piece of vintage to a space. Well, I say vintage because it could be mid-century. It doesn't have to be an antique. You can get a really cool vintage mid-century piece and bring that in. Now, here's the important thing when you are decorating with mid-century, be it a mid-century home or mid-century furniture pieces. Don't do everything mid-century. And I would go as far as to say, don't do everything colonial, don't do everything Hollywood Regency. Like, none of these styles, you should stick to that closely and do every single thing in. I love to mix different things together. So if you're doing mid-century home, add some postmodern into there to have a really fun and vibrant space. But if you're doing mid-century furniture pieces in a colonial home, great, mix a few of them in to give a little bit of a reference to get that modern feeling without committing to every single piece being that. One more thing that's interesting about mid-century design is that there's overlap within it. So if you look at authentic mid-century homes that still have a lot of their furniture, you'll see that mid-century sofas have a lot of tufting on them, for example. That's not a modern detail. That's a more classic detail. And a lot of the wood tones used, a lot of the pieces, there's a lot of Oriental inspiration used in mid-century design that I would not say is particularly modern. I would say is very classic or timeless or traditional. So mid-century can be a mix of things. It's nice to have reference points to it in a space without committing to every single thing being that style, especially in a mid-century home. Now, another style that a lot of people view as being dated that I think is secretly timeless is actually Mediterranean. And Mediterranean has a couple of niches. Obviously, we know like the 1920s Spanish architecture. Yeah, nobody's questioning whether that's timeless or not. Okay, we're talking more about that sort of Tuscan influence or, coastal Mediterranean influence on homes. A lot of people view it as being dated because it can be a little bit heavy. And I will give it that. The heaviness is something that maybe you should work on upgrading or eliminating out of those spaces, but that Mediterranean influence has always been timeless and classic. Always, always, always. I mean, you can look back through historic architecture, looking at that 1920s Spanish design. You also have Italionettes from the 1800s. Like, these are really classic styles of architecture that serve as influence for a lot of these Mediterranean style homes that were built in the early 2000s, but maybe we're just not seeing as much right now. And here's the thing with those spaces. They tend to be heavy, they tend to have darker colors and more ornate finishes. And those are the things we want to neutralize a little bit. So like a Tuscan style kitchen, they tend to be built with really good quality, but just really dark materials. So if you say, I really love the wood cabinetry, okay, let's brighten and update the walls a little bit to be a creamier color, like an antique white really works beautifully with a Tuscan style home, and then we upgrade the countertops or potentially the flooring to be something a little bit brighter so that we get some more light. It feels more refreshed. It has more of that Italianate feeling versus some of that heavier Tuscan style. And with some of the Mediterranean style homes, I personally think it's all about the furnishings. Furnishings in Mediterranean style homes can be so heavy, so weighty, so ornate, while simplifying them and going for something that's a little more neutral and actually a little more streamlined, not contemporary, not modern, but just more streamlined, can be a really good way to update those spaces, make them feel luxurious, expensive, gorgeous, stately, and a lot of these spaces are designed to have heavier furniture, so they're a larger scale, like bigger floor plans, more space. Using furniture that's more streamlined actually will make those spaces feel bigger and allow you to focus in on some of the architectural details that they may have. A lot of these spaces have arched windows and beautiful trim details and, oversized moldings, and we want to see all of that, okay? I don't want it to be distracted by that by, a big clunky sofa. I want to see all of that. So using streamlined or simplified color schemes and furniture pieces is going to let you do that. Here's the most important takeaway about this entire video, about anything you hear in design. Your home will always feel timeless and classic if it reflects your style and the things you really like, as opposed to feeling like that's the thing that belongs here and what everybody else is going to want to see. Focus in on what you like and your home will always be timeless and classic. Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett and thank you for spending some time with me today, because in this video, we are talking about some dated interior design trends that are back. This is part 2, some more things that you need to be thinking about for your home, or maybe you have, that are on their way back in, and I love that for you. The first one is actually a trend on social media I'm seeing that makes me actually very happy because I like it, and that is murals. Homeowners and even renters are doing murals on their walls in their own homes to create personality and interest and to bring a little bit of fun into the space, and I think that's exciting. And these are happening in a few different ways. When we think of a mural, you think of something like in a kid's room, and it's like animals or trees and all of those things, and yes, that is happening. Yes, we like it. We love that. A lot of people think I'm a hater on kids' rooms, and I'm like, oh, they can't have any fun. They have to be all of this. No, I want you to put some effort into it, and so the kids can actually have some fun outside of just buying some random stuff to stick on the wall. But that's a conversation for another video, potentially. What I'm seeing that I'm really liking and what people are doing are stripes. They're doing stripes on their walls, and they're painting them. They're taping out the stripes, and they're setting out a pattern for them using multiple colors. And some people are even freehanding kind of stripes and lines so they have sort of an aged look to them. And I think that's really great. And the big reason people are doing this is because wallpaper is back on trend, but wallpaper is very expensive. It's a big commitment and it is very expensive. So not everybody can access that or do it, and that's totally okay. You have to get creative. I always say this to you in videos. Have fun, get creative. If you can't buy it, you can DIY it. Okay, well, I love a good rhyme. The real fun part about this is that your potential is unlimited. If you have a little stencil, if you can, measure, it's super easy. You can get a laser level measuring device and kind of use that to do this too, to make it even easier. Anybody could do this as long as you can use a basic ruler and a piece of tape. You could create this effect. Now, I love it, and I think it's really good. In a lot of areas in your home, people do it in powder rooms, people do it in hallways. People are really loving to do this in kids' rooms, though, and that's where I think it really looks the best and looks really good, because in a kid's room, we want to have patterns, we want to have color, we want to have fun, and a lot of people, like I said, will be like, oh, let the kids do whatever they want in their room and let them have the wild. Yeah, let them, but let's elevate it and take it to the next level, and this is an easy way to do that. You can also color block with this to do multiple tones of it. This is also a really good way if you want to use a really bold, impactful, and strong color to actually neutralize it a little bit, because we can do a white stripe and then whatever this bold color you want to use is. So be on the lookout for this, a major trend that it's on its way back, and we all love a good mural. We all love the memories associated with that, and it takes a lot of work to do it initially, but you'll be grateful for it in the long run. And remember, I'm always looking out for you, whether that is in, some of these ideas you could bring into your house, color schemes for your space, how to decorate beautifully, and if you need some extra help, I am here for you. You can always book a one-on-one virtual consultation with me where you can show me your home and I can answer some of those difficult design questions. You can book a call with me using the link in the description box down below, or by going to intro.co/GarrettLeChic. Now, another dated trend that I suspect is back, and this blew my mind, okay? Blown away, could not believe it. I spoke in a video that the video was about like dated design styles that are back. I will link it here and at the end of this one for you, about Hollywood Regency style and how you can kind of incorporate this into your space. And one of the things I suggested were mirrored pieces of furniture. You know what I mean, like the Glam pieces of furniture. Everybody wanted them. It was mirrored and it had like a pewter trim on it. I said, you know, you could get a piece like that and paint all of the pewter trim to be a bright brass gold. Okay, that's very Hollywood Regency coded. But after I did that, I was kind of like, you know what? That would look good in my house. I could see that for me. I went on Facebook Marketplace and I, bookmarked a few pieces. I was like, oh, these are potentials. Maybe I'll message the seller and get dimensions on it, which FYI, if you're trying to sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace, like nobody's gonna buy it if you don't have dimensions on it. Okay, like give me a width, give me a height, give me a depth, like basic things here, okay? Make sure you put them on there. But I didn't even have the chance. Okay, like I would bookmark it and like 15 minutes later, boom, sold. Sold. I could not believe it. I was stunned. I was gagged. I had no words. But if this is something that's moving that quickly, it tells me that people are after it, people want it, it is back on trend. And this is something I think is really interesting and something that, maybe I'm not necessarily like envisioning it in my mind saying, hey, this would be great for everybody and you should all do this, but it is something that people are out there doing. They're buying these pieces. And the really interesting thing about these to me is one, like I said, they can look good if you DIY the trim on them and repaint it to be a bright gold color, because I think that's nice. And if you have a lot of wood furniture, if you have a lot of painted furniture, this is a good way to break a little bit of that up. And that's why I thought it could be good for me as a TV console in my living room here. I have like an empty corner I need a piece for, and I thought, that could be cute there. This is something I'm seeing. People are snapping them up left and right. They are available at a relatively good price in comparison to what they sold for initially, which sometimes was, like $800, $900, $1,000, $1,200. People are selling them for $200. And so you can get a really good piece of furniture at a good deal. Maybe it takes a little bit of DIY, but it could be something that has a real statement and presence in your space in an unexpected way that nobody is prepared for and nobody's talking about. Another trend, a dated trend that is back that I am here for, I love, I'm excited about, is actually terrazzo tile, terrazzo countertops. This is great. I work with clients from every kind of spectrum of design, and they come to me because they know I appreciate every design style and I can work in all of them, but that's beside the point. But a lot of people come to me with mid-century and they love mid-century, but they want to infuse it into a home, be it a colonial style home, or they want to update a mid-century style home and use this. And I love recommending terrazzo tile because it is so versatile and it's a really good alternative to natural stone. And right now we primarily use it in commercial applications. Like you see it in hospitals all the time because it's easy to maintain and it can be used on a very large scale and installed relatively quickly. And there's not a lot of grout lines to take care of. But if you're doing a terrazzo tile, for example, in a bathroom, there's a big mid-century reference point to that. Terrazzo was first introduced in the 1920s. Loosely, I say introduced because that's when it kind of gained a lot of popularity, but there's always been cement mixes that kind of have this reference to them with like oversized aggregate pieces and quartz pieces in them. It's really cool in mid-century spaces though, because we can get it in neutral variations. You can get different sized pieces of quartz in this material that are really interesting. It comes in tile. It also comes in slabs. So you could do countertops and backsplashes in this. You can do flooring in this in spaces that feel modern, but you want them to have that organic and natural feeling, because this has a light reference to a fossilized style of stone. And that's really interesting to have in your space. It brings a lot of character. It brings a feeling of nature inside, but I specifically like this because it's a man-made material and it's not like a fake marble. Okay, it's not trying to be anything natural because it never was, it never will be. You can get these man-made materials, and when you use a man-made material like a porcelain tile, it has a lot of durability. They're baked, they're fired, they have glazes on them that are very stain resistant. They have a little bit more of a resilience to chipping and cracking, and that's really cool to me and I like to see it. I could envision this in a bathroom, on the floor, in a shower. You could really go over the top with this because you can use them in very subtle tones, or you can get them in that like atomic mid-century look where they're bright and vibrant colors too. There's a lot of versatility in this material, and that is why a lot of people are really enjoying it and liking it. Also, a big comeback for this is people like mid-century homes, but a lot of times they haven't been updated correctly, or they've been updated in a way that's not sympathetic to the architectural style. And this is a material that is, so when they go renovate it, they kind of like to install this so they get that traditional, maybe not traditional, but classic reference to mid-century design. I think it's beautiful, and it's definitely something worth considering. And I know some of these may not be for everybody, but there's a little bit of something for everyone on this channel. So no matter what your style is, no matter what you like, if you love interior design and beautiful spaces, please take a moment, hit that subscribe button and join us. Become a part of our LeChic family. We would love to have you here as a part of our design loving community as we elevate homes one at a time. So be sure you hit that subscribe button. I would also greatly appreciate if everyone watching could give this video a like. Another trend that is back, it's been dated, it's been out, people have been hating it, but we love it now and we're seeing it all over the place, is actually chandeliers with lampshades on them. And I'm not talking about a singular lampshade style fixture. That's great, it's beautiful. If you're looking for something that leans modern, is simplistic, that's the way to go. But I'm talking about these more traditional chandeliers with arms on them, and then they have little lampshades to go over the bulbs. I love it. I love it, I eat it up because of so many reasons. Number one, this has gained so much popularity because of the cottage style that is back. Right now, traditional references in design are really huge. And this is one of them, and how you can kind of incorporate it without doing something that feels really fussy. And I like the dimming effect that a shade has on a bulb. If you just have an exposed light bulb, you know, like an incandescent candelabra style bulb, even if you have an LED version of that, they're very bright, they're very glaring, you're looking straight at a light bulb, and that's a little bit like overwhelming, gives me a migraine. Okay, I don't like the harsh light, but that's beside the point. A shade is going to dim that down a little bit, and I like that. That's pretty, it's soft, the light is just a little bit diffused, and they project light in an interesting way. They angle some of it down, some of it up. You get a cool reflection on that lighting on the ceiling. Love that. You know, I'm obsessed with great lighting. I also love that you can advance a color scheme a little bit with this, because the shades on the fixture, if you're gonna get a fixture with the shades that comes with them, they're gonna be white. Okay, cool, fine, whatever, but you can pick a different color, you can swap them out. You can literally buy these lampshades in my Amazon storefront, linked in the description box down below, to replace them on a light fixture. And I think that is so great if you really love a cohesive color scheme. If you're looking for a pop of color, you can do this. Also, if you get a ton of these little lampshades, you could swap them out for the holidays. How cute would that be? Like, you know, you could put red and green ones up for Christmas. You could put pink ones up for Valentine's Day, maybe yellow for Easter. I don't know. You could do a lot of different things with this. You can do this on sconces as well. And another big trend when it comes to lampshades are customizing them, wrapping them in patterned fabric. And, you know, that's kind of a DIY you could do. You could have them custom made. This is something super cute and interesting. If you want custom ones, you could DIY them yourself, or Etsy's a great resource for that. If you're looking for some that are solid, interesting colors that are a little smaller, clip-on lampshades, check out my Amazon storefront, linked in the description box down below. Now, another trend that is back and shoppable in my Amazon storefront, and I love that for you, is actually a corner TV stand. Let me tell you what. So many designers, the top designers, will tell you not to put a TV in your living room. I will tell you to use your living room at all costs. I want you taking advantage of every space in your home. You're paying for it, you may as well use it. So adding a TV into a room, if that's what it's gonna get you in there and using it, that's what I want. Let me make that point very clear. Also, I like a big TV because I just wanna see things, like go big or go home if you have the space for it. Now, where a lot of my clients struggle is that, where do you put a TV? Where do you put it that looks good? Because they don't all have massive homes, and they don't all have a natural place for a TV, right? Like, you know, you have a living room, maybe it's designed around a fireplace. Okay, so you centralize the furniture around the fireplace, your option is to put the TV above it. I don't wanna walk in and be distracted from all of the beautiful everything to see a TV. I mean, live your fantasy. You may as well not decorate anything. Just put a chair in the corner, you can sit there and watch your TV, right? No. there's so much we can do, and one of my favorite things to recommend is actually a corner TV stand. And it's typically like a stand for a TV, or you could use an artist easel to do this, but it's about having the TV off center and off to the side. I don't want a big bulky piece of furniture underneath it. That was what we used to do. It was like, you know, you get a corner cabinet and the TV would sit on, you'd have the VCR and the little thing. No, we're above that. We've moved past it. Getting some sort of a stand with legs on it for your TV, and it's not necessarily a furniture piece. This is usually just like a TV mount with legs on it that you can use and put it in a corner. It's a great little trick and a hack to use. Also, there's a renter-friendly version of a TV wall mount you can use where it is a standalone piece. It has like a leg, it's like an L shape. You'll see them in my Amazon storefront, where you can mount the TV on that and put it behind a piece of furniture like a console, so the television is on the wall. You can tuck all of the cords away. It's super clean and tidy. That's something to think about also. If you're like, Garrett, I don't have a fireplace. Okay, I can put my TV on the wall. Make sure you are sitting on your sofa and you can literally sit there, take a tape measure, measure it from the floor up to like, you know, the perfect viewing point. That's where the center of your TV goes. You know, you could kind of play around with that number. Just make sure it's hung at the perfect height so you can sit there. You don't have to crane your neck one way or another, and you can see the TV. You can actually use your space, because like I said, you're paying for that square footage one way or another. You may as well take advantage of it. Well, there you have it, everyone. Thanks for spending some time with us today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure you check out this one here, all about some more dated trends that are back. I have this insane little puppy here who also wants you to check out this video right here, all about some dated styles that are actually secretly timeless. Thanks for hanging out with us, and I will see you in the next one. Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett, and thank you for spending some time with me today, because in this video, we are talking all about dated decor that is back. Yes, it's things that we love, that are timeless, that are classic, that some people think are dated, but there's no accounting for taste. We're getting into it. The first thing that is back that has been dated for a long time are actually silver picture frames. I am seeing this all over the place, and it's kind of a return to that classic style, old money aesthetic, where you have family photos and picture frames on a tabletop. Now, I've been telling you this for years, okay? Years, months, weeks, ages, decades. I love pictures on a tabletop. I'm not the biggest fan of like a gallery wall of family photos. I want to see frames there and then rotate them out for the holidays and all of that sort of thing. I think it's great, and this silver picture frame trend is really amazing. Now, when I say silver picture frames, I don't mean the color of metal silver. I mean the metal silver, like a silver plated piece. It's beautiful. Silver is a very difficult metal to mimic because it has a warmth to it, as where like stainless steel is relatively cold feeling, silver is a little warmer. So this is super interesting, and I love this silver picture frame idea. And if you go plated, they're usually very affordable or accessible for most people. If you go for a designer brand, of course, you're going to pay a little bit more for that, but you're paying for the name. Now, this kind of has a reference to that sort of like classic movie aesthetic where you see these warm, welcoming, comfortable homes where, you know, people are surrounded by their family. It's giving that energy, and I love it. Plus, the good thing is, this isn't style specific. You don't have to have a traditional space or a modern space to make this work. These tend to be very accessible finds. So a lot of people already have them and they're just packed away somewhere. They're from grandma's house, and you know, hey, at least somebody in the family had good taste, right? You could borrow those. You can also find them relatively affordable, sometimes brand new on resale sites in that marketplace. And so go out and look for them and see if you can find these. They're relatively inexpensive, but they look really good. You can polish them up. They clean well. A silver picture frame is definitely something that is back on trend. It's classic, but it's been dated for a little while. I don't know about you, but I'm glad to see it back. Another trend that is big time right now that is back, that was dated, people were like getting away from it, and now we are loving it, are candlesticks. The candlestick trend is honestly something I really like because of the versatility. And this candlesticks is not just one single thing. It's not like, oh, a little taper candle holder. You could get a full-blown candelabra. Like, this is kind of on trend. There's modern takes of it. There are more traditional versions of it. Something really ornate could work for you. Something more refined, a little bit more rustic, more traditional could also be great. The reason I like this and I think it's so versatile is because this is decor you can use all year round for every thing. You know, put it on a little table, that's great. Get a whole bunch of them when you're, you know, throwing a dinner party. Line the middle of the table with a perfect centerpiece. Love that for you. But also, this makes great holiday decor. It's a bunch of candles. It's a bunch of candles. I love candlesticks for that reason. And there's a million and one of them out there that you can find. You can go with something that's brand new and a little bit more, you know, we'll say refined in its detail, basically simple, you know, understated, whatever. That's really good for you. You can also go with something that is in that resale area that has a little bit more detail. You can switch up the feeling of them by changing out the candle that's in them. So you can use a white candle all year round. You could use a colored candle. You could, you know, actually I love a colored candle because you could put that in there and then use it for a themed party or something, or like a kid's birthday, or, you know, if you're hosting a dinner, that's great. You can use a burgundy, a maroon candle for the fall season. You can use black to decorate for Halloween, red for Christmas. Love all of that. There's so much versatility in this because it's just a little taper candle holder. It's a candlestick. Something else I love for you is great interior design advice and getting your difficult questions answered. So if you need some of that, be sure you check out my consultation services linked in the description box down below, where you can book a one-on-one design consultation with me. I can look around your space and answer any and all of your design and decorating questions. So be sure you check it out. Head to the description box down below and click that link, or go to intro.co/GarrettLeChic. Another dated trend that is back and everybody is honestly really loving is iron. Iron details in decor are great because this is a real material. It looks good. It's, you know, it gets you to the look and feel of something being black without it being like a really harsh contrast, because it has that depth. It builds that dimension we need, and that grounding element, without it being a really harsh contrast, because this is a warmer tone, and I love that. Iron can be applied in like a million different ways. You have lamps and light fixtures in iron, very big trend right now. Love that because you kind of get a little bit of that Spanish reference, a little bit of a rustic feel. Great. You can find iron for small bowls, accent pieces, little boxes, you know, like with lids on them. Love that. That's a little bit harder to find in that metal, but when you do, 10 out of 10. They look amazing. Iron is also a really great trim detail to have featured on different elements. So, you know, if you find one of those little storage boxes, you might find some iron trim on it. Great. But you can also find mirrors that are framed with iron. Love. 10 out of 10. That's an unexpected place to apply this, and you get a lot of that detail there. So don't be afraid to add some of this into your home. And like I said, it has a Spanish reference, so you can go for something that's more minimalistic and get that feeling, or you can find something that's, you know, in the resale space that has a lot of that authentic element and detail on it to bring into your home. You can find a lot of it in really cool, unique ways, but you can also find it at a lot of major retailers because this is something that's really popular right now. It was out for a while and we kind of wanted to get rid of it, but it's back and I'm absolutely loving it. Don't write off pieces like accent chairs because this is a great place to apply that as well. Get that really good quality and bring that tone and finish into the space. Now, another piece of dated decor that is back and I'm loving, one of my favorite tools or tricks to decorate with, is what I like to call flanking chairs. And this is exactly what it sounds like. You flank something with chairs on either side. And the reason I love this so much is because it gives us a lot of versatility. We get to play around with scale and shape a lot, and dimension, proportion, by using this trick. And essentially it's just, we have a piece of furniture that's maybe a little too small for a wall, so we put chairs on either side, dining chairs. And I really love that because it builds a layer into the space. It is not style specific, and it also means that we can add additional seating. We can, you know, use smaller pieces of furniture that sometimes are a little bit more affordable for a home. If you have this piece of furniture that's just too small for a space, or maybe it has too much depth, we can add smaller chairs on either side of it that have a little bit less depth. We build a gradient up that feels natural and, you know, enhances the flow and kind of blocks off a big bulky side piece of a furniture. We can also add extra seating into those spaces. So if you have a dining table with an extension, or we have a lot of people that are gonna come over, but not all of the time, it's good to have a place to store some of these extra dining chairs that we might need. Put them on either side of something, put them under pieces of artwork. Those are great things to do. That's a great place to put them. So it's permanently there. We're not shoving them into a closet. We're not having the table extended the full time. We get more access to the floor space, and it builds up a layer. It also increases visual flow. When you have have a reference point from one space to another. Like if these are the dining chairs in here, we can take them into the living room, flank this piece of furniture with them. Now we have an immediate reference point and something so beyond obvious that references back to that other space. Love, 10 out of 10. This is a great decorating trick and a hack, whether it's in an entryway, a dining room, a living room, all of these spaces are really good to use this little trick in. Something else I love to see in a home is a beautiful screen with my face on it, because I love when you all watch these videos. I love when you engage with them because I love interacting with you in the comment section. You can always share with me your thoughts and opinions. We love to have a conversation about it. And if you're not a part of our design loving community, I would like to invite you now to hit that subscribe button and join us. Become a part of our GarrettLeChic family. And I would absolutely appreciate if everyone watching could give this video a like and give it some hype to get it shared across the platform. A major trend that I am seeing online is people are loving cut crystal. And I know what you're saying, like, cut crystal, Garrett, please. I got rid of all of that from my grandmother's house. Well, that's unfortunate for you because it's back. And everybody is loving it because, like I said, of that old money aesthetic, that kind of traditional detail, it's high end, it's luxury. Like there's no explaining crystal to someone if you've never held it or used it. Now, if you've never held a piece of crystal, it's hard to describe, but it's easy to tell the difference between it and glass. Crystal has much more weight to it. There's no seams or lines. It also has a very specific, I don't know if you can hear that, but and it's just a beautiful material. So like I said, you have more traditional versions of it, like this beautiful Waterford glass I'm holding in my hand here, the cuts of it, the actual shape of the glass, it's beautifully made. And you know, this is a little bit more of a traditional piece, but this one, crystal is very heavy. So it does give the feeling of quality when you hold it. This is a baccarat piece, and this is definitely a lot more modern looking and feeling. It has more of these lines. It almost has kind of an Art Deco sort of reference to it. You can find pieces like this, maybe not baccarat, okay, everybody wants the designer pieces. They definitely come at a premium, but you can find pieces that have those references that will get you that look and feeling in your home. That's very high end, that's very luxury. And yeah, okay, like, you know, it's definitely something that's more quality. You might be able to find it at a good deal resale, or you may say, I don't want that, I want a big full set of it, and you go retail on it. Okay, fine. This is a beautiful material to bring into your home because it says quality, it says luxury, it says, you know, it doesn't say old money, it just says money. It just says quality, it says beautiful, and it says something about your space. So I love a piece of crystal. If I see it while I'm out there, yeah, I'm gonna pick it up, okay? You're probably not gonna find any here around town because I have it all, but that's beside the point. If you see it, grab it. Now, another material that is back on trend, a dated one that is back that I'm loving, is marble. And I know what you're thinking, like, Garrett, marble is not dated. Okay, but marble in decor has had its ups and downs, its moments. We're talking about decor, not floors and countertops and tile and all of those things. Decor and accessories in marble, it comes in and out relatively quickly. And there's different types of it to look for, different things. And I really like that. And I think it's a beautiful, noble material. Noble materials are just materials that are what they look like. So there's no plastic here. This is natural, it's stone, it's real, it's heavy, it feels great. Look for those noble materials in everything in your home because we want to reduce as much plastic as possible, but that is not what we're talking about. We're talking about marble. If you're looking for marble brand new, you're going to find things that are just more simple. So you're gonna find a little box with a lid on it. You're gonna find a little tray or a little dish. You might be able to find, like, you know, a soap dispenser for your bathroom that's made of marble, and that's great too. You might find a book end. That's, you know, marble. That's good. Okay, that's marble. But vintage pieces or older pieces, that's where you find more craftsmanship and detail. You find carved pieces that have a lot of character to them, that have a lot of history to them. And that's a really cool thing to bring into your home that I think a lot of people are interested in right now. And a lot of these light fixtures you see, or like, you know, plant stands, they'll be in alabaster, they'll be in marble, they might be in exotic variations of marble, and all of that is so cool. Figure out what works with your aesthetic and build from there. If you like that Calicut Viola look of marble, great. go and look and find a piece of viola marble that is made into some sort of decor. It doesn't have to be the same variant of stone, but it has some of those similar colors. I love green marble, so I'm gonna go and look for pieces that have that because they work in my home and it feels right. You can also find lots of other, you know, Carrara, other forms of calicut. There's a million versions or variations or species of marble, if you will. So just be mindful, go out there and look and see what you can find, and be open-minded when you're looking for it. If you want something that has a lot of detail, you're looking for something that is maybe a little more historic, and you know, you may need to go resale on that, but if you like that modern, sleek look, you can find light fixtures and candlesticks and a lot of the things we've already talked about in this video made in marble, and I think that's really beautiful. Marble is also a great material to use in accessories and details in bathrooms and kitchens. You can find, you know, like a really cool utensil holder or, you know, a cheese board made of marble. Those are really beautiful things to have in that space because they're functional, they're useful, they're noble materials, and they will get you the look and feel of this trend without having to commit to like marble countertops, which it's just not for everybody, and that's okay. Another dated trend that is back and I am absolutely loving in the decor space are actually wooden kitchen utensils. So I know we talked about like the marble accessories and, you know, getting a utensil holder in marble, great. The utensils should be wooden though. Kitchen trends come and go, and sometimes a painted kitchen's in, sometimes a wood kitchen is in, but the vast majority of people when it comes to designing a kitchen, that's something really expensive, so they're gonna do it once and they're gonna do it the way they really like, so you kind of stick with something. If you like a painted kitchen, it's always gonna be timeless for you, paint your kitchen, that's fine. But let's break it up a little bit. We need some warmth. And a lot of the clients I work with who are maybe they bought a condo or they're renting a space and they want help decorating, they're like, what do I do to warm up the kitchen? Because I can't redo it. I always say wooden accessories and utensils are so great for this because you get that natural element, that feeling there. It looks like it belongs there. It's not something that's just out of place. It's not like add a mural on your backsplash of nature or wilderness, like some crazy stuff. It looks like it belongs there because it's useful. Cutting boards, wooden utensils are great. I think even like right now, the KitchenAid mixer has a custom wooden bowl available for it in a special limited edition. That's something really cool to look at too. You can find a lot of wood accents and accessories to bring into your kitchen. These are great, 10 out of 10, because they're not plastic, okay? I really don't like cooking with plastic or artificial materials because like, why would I? You know, like I don't need microplastics in my food. I guess I'd rather have wood splinters. No, but in all seriousness, I don't like having those artificial materials in those spaces. I don't like having them anywhere in my house, so I try to do as little of them as possible, and a lot of people are getting away from it. Wooden utensils are the way to go instead of like metal or silicone. I like wood because it's easy to use, it's easy to clean, it's relatively affordable and easy to replace. You can literally buy them off of my Amazon storefront linked in the description box down below. Wooden utensils in a kitchen are great. Wooden accessories in general in a kitchen are really good. If you have a really light and bright, all white painted kitchen, we can break that up a little bit and add in a natural element that doesn't fight or compete with the colors or the tones. And if you have that moodier kitchen that you really like that's a little darker, this naturally fits in and aligns perfectly. Why wouldn't you have it in that space? Add some wooden utensils or details into your kitchen. You won't regret it. It's going to look beautiful, and we can replace some of those other things we don't need. In a kitchen, you want to declutter. So only having things that are useful but beautiful is the way to go, and using some of these wooden accessories and even some marble ones is a really smart move. Well, there you have it, everyone. Thanks for spending some time with me today, and we talked about some home decor that's great to have right now, but let's talk about some that you should let go of, shouldn't they, Arden? Check out this video right over here, and we will see you over there, won't we?